tell me the interpretation, because all of the wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known to me this interpretation, but you are able, for you have a spirit of the holy God is in you. So, after he's gone to everybody else, he decides to again call on the one who's been there since the beginning, the one who knows what he's doing, the one who understands. And so what I want you to see in this first part, in these first verses from chapter 4 to verse 4 to chapter 4, verse 18, is sometimes God has a way of getting our attention. For Nebuchadnezzar, he had gotten so high in himself and he had thought so much of himself that he was not able to be spoken to by others, and no one could speak into his life. And apparently Daniel had moved far away from in his counsel because he had to send for Daniel. Sometimes God has to take and do something to get our attention. God will always get our attention. The problem is, are you going to allow God to get your attention through His Word, or is God going to have to go to other means by which to do it? Because God is going to be glorified. God is going to be honored. And hear me on this. If our lives are not things that are glorifying and honoring to God, He will get our attention on it. And I've heard of story after story after story of people who say, man, I ran from God and I ran from God and I ran from God. And it wasn't until God allowed this to happen in my life that God got my attention. And so my question is God trying to get your attention? Nebuchadnezzar was having dreams. Nebuchadnezzar was having these things where he couldn't sleep. He was sleepless. He was struggling. Some people feel they're too big for God, or they're too important to hear from God. And understand, God will be glorified. And so the question is God trying to get your attention? Well, why would He be trying to get my attention, Wade? More often than not,